guys, it's Tim Whitty time, y'all. Welcome one and all to the Trust Me When I Tell You podcast. We are broadcasting to you from across these contiguous United States of America. On behalf of Huff, Nails, Cal, and myself, Little Mardi, we invite you to sit back, relax, and embrace your inner pioneer of stupidity while enjoying this well over our targeted time of 35 minutes long podcast. Take it away, man. Woo, woo!
It might be over 35 minutes, but it's going to be on spot 60, if you know what I'm saying. Welcome to another episode of the Trust Me When I Tell You podcast. And we are into the month of March. And thank you to the fans out there. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media at TrustWhen on the Twitter. Trust Me When I Tell You on Instagram and YouTube / Trust Me When I Tell You. Almost forgot. I haven't done it in so long. But we got a Mardi Gras special for you this evening. I cannot wait. How's it, Dan?
Well, in Tim Woody fashion, today is Wednesday, and yesterday was Fat Tuesday, and last weekend was Mardi Gras. So it's only fitting that we're doing a Mardi Gras episode after Mardi Gras.
And this will be published sometime in May, so I hear you. How's it with you, Plax?
Well, we're nothing if not consistent, Nails. And I will say, if we're able to nail the sub 60-minute time limit again in back-to-back episodes, I'll be shocked. I'll believe it when I see it, especially with all four of us on. And once the stories start rolling, I don't see it happening. But we'll see how disciplined we can be.
Well, we only got 57 minutes now, so.
Yep. Let's quit wasting time. How's it, Kyle?
I'm going to do my best to make sure I stay under 15, and if you guys do the same, we'll be all right, huh?
That story checks out.
Math
just
checks
like
out.
Math. Yeah. Kyle been dropping a lot of public school math references on webinars over the last week, as many as he can, and that's always a quality wash and Placo line that I thoroughly enjoy.
Shout out webinar.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, speaking of webinars, let's talk about Riverside FM, the leading podcast and video creation platform. It's changing the game on how creators record content. Do we call ourselves creators, boys? I think we're creators
Every day.
At this point, we're professional creators.
Semi-pro.
Well, the check is yet to clear, but supposedly, yes.
Thank you. I don't think we're gods, but we're definitely creators.
And we're stepping on our dicks in this ad read again. I love it.
Needless to say, Riverside FM allows you to record studio quality audio and up to 4K video on their platform. Now you can interview a guest 1,000 miles away, and it'll sound just like they're sitting in the same room. It's easy to use as Zoom, and it gives you much higher quality audio and video recordings. Did we mention they have a mobile app? That's right.
Get out of here.
This allows guests to connect directly from their correct telephones and record content from anywhere. Hey, maybe that means I can do Kyle in the Wild episodes on Riverside FM.
100%. That's what I'm thinking.
Only one way to find out.
I got to get one done in the fiscal quarter. So, we're getting there. We're getting there. Needless to say,
back to the ad read. My phone just blacked out.
I lost my flip.
After your content is finished, you can easily grab clips to share them across your social media channels. So if you're looking for a hero platform for all of your recording needs, from podcasts to webinars to other video content, you should be using Riverside FM. Sign up today, and you can focus on your content. Leave the quality to Riverside. Today, use promo code SHIPIT, that's SHIPIT, and receive a 30% discount on the first 3 months of your subscriptions. Do it, and do it today. Riverside FM.
You know we will.
30% off. That's quite the discount, especially in this economy with inflation. I mean, you need to get that 30% off.
I'd say it's strong.
Do yourself a favor. As Joe Biden said, it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay.
I don't want to get into anything political or what's going on in the world, but I do want to touch on just one thing that runs across the Trust Me When I Tell You desk when it comes to the war in Ukraine. Kyle, I'm going to you right off the bat. What is going on with what they called Elon Musk out to help him out with? Like, I don't understand this. Like, to give him free internet? Like, what was that whole story?
Dude, and the timing on this thing is crazy too, right? So the latest thing that Musk has been working on is a Starlink. Have you guys heard about Starlink? It's like a whole collection of satellites that at whatever altitude they're at, it basically sits over a particular location. So
it's like
say you launch
the premise.
this.
It's the premise of Office Christmas Story. You know, when she gets the internet in Chicago, when they knock out all the power.
Is that the movie about the two gay dudes?
No, that's another famous one. That's where they.
It's a Kia. If God could drive, he'd drive one.
Sorry to interrupt you, but all roads lead back to Office Christmas Party for me.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been too long since we watched a replacement, so we got to plug in Office Christmas Party instead.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I mean, long story short, that's this new technology that they're working on for another source or resource for internet, and somebody plugged Elon on Twitter, is my understanding, and he responded back and was like, "Yep, give me a couple minutes, and we'll open it up to all of Ukraine." And then when I read about it, they were like, "Yeah, we're not sure if Ukraine has the the technology to be able to connect to it, but we're going to try." It's so kind of interesting there.
Oh, yeah.
But then
run that wire all the way to the satellite? Or?
Yeah, exactly. Anybody got an Ethernet cord? But I think like 24 hours, 48 hours later, that's when Russia bombed that huge TV station tower and all that too, right? So they didn't say anything that was internet related, but if it's anything like here, right, like media rolls together. So pretty ironic, but nonetheless, shout out Elon Musk. He always responds to a bunch of random people, and it's kind of funny. So, why not do his part?
Speaking of shout outs, I got to give my buddy Ken Mufilder a shout out. He listened to last week's episode, and he's on the road today, and he sent me a picture of the soap and shampoo dispenser in his hotel room. And I'm like, Ken, you are fucking awesome. So shout out Ken Mufilder. He's selling buses today, so anybody who needs if you're a transportation director at a school district in Northern Illinois, go contact Ken Mufilder at Central States Bus. Thanks, buddy. We love you.
If I can quickly segue from the school aspect of what Dan was just saying, today, just a little family note, we had parent-teacher conferences, which for my middle child who was in 7th grade, there were student-led parent-teacher conferences. Long story short, she has one teacher for AVID and English, same guy, and it's first 2 courses of the day. So we go in, she gives her spiel, he starts talking, she's doing great, blah, 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 blah. Shake his hand, I tell him to have a great spring break. He goes, "Oh, by the way, Harlow told me about your podcast."
Oh,
I haven't listened yet, but I downloaded it. So I'm going to have to give it a listen over break. So shout out Mr. Felix, if you're listening. I hope you enjoy this one. We'll try and bring the funny for you.
You can only hope that the way she introduced it was like, "Hey, can I see your cell phone, coach or teacher?"
Coach.
That too.
Well, I asked her when we were walking out, would it have been inappropriate for me to ask for Mr. Felix's phone just so I could put it on there for him to make sure that it's there?
She's like, "I already did it, Dad. I already did it."
So the good news is, while I may not be preaching the gospel of the Tim Whitty podcast from the street corners, my kids are, because Fletcher keeps telling me all of his buddies are starting to listen, and they'll listen for like 5 minutes at a time and get bored and be gone. But those are downloads, so they're helping the statistics.
Hey,
so we
They
got
don't understand a
numbers don't
single
lie.
reference. Who is Sybil Shepherd? They never made it that far.
a couple of punk kids in Canton and a handful of more punk kids here in Queen Creek. So roll call Brandon and Danny and Pi and all the other ne'er-do-wells.
Yes.
I think they're waiting for Fletcher's music to get thrown in here. So, we got to get that. We got to give the people what they want. So we got work to do, boys.
And roll call the Zoozaphone because he can move around with that thing. I've seen it firsthand. That's awesome. That is awesome. But no, speaking of new listeners too, I've been getting a lot of comments back and forth. But I'm going to tell you, to the roll call to Ken. Ken single-handedly got me off my Twitter break with just a great bagpipe tweet right at nails that just got me. I was off the horse. I was running behind the horse. It gave me that extra speed to catch up and jump right back on. And Let's get her riding. That was strong.
Oh, hilarious.
We got about
15
2
more
weeks
days till
to
bagpipes make their debut again.
Yeah, right. Cannot wait. Oh,
yeah.
But the topic we've all been waiting for, Mardi Gras. Wash. I'm going to tell you, I feel like an absolute novice when it comes to Mardi Gras with the company that we sit with here on the Trust Me When I Tell You podcast. How about you, Will?
I'm with you, brother. Full transparency. I was preparing for my 10 a.m. meeting this morning, and I literally Googled, what is Mardi Gras?
Why don't you let the listeners know what Merriam-Webster has to say about Mardi Gras?
When we get to my Final Four, you'll see what I decided
what is
what
the
my
Final
four will
Four?
be. But glad to see you did show prep,
real.
Nails. We'll get to it later. You can go second.
We won't put you on the spot. I'm prepared.
Give it to you cold, just like bands we hate.
Yes. Final Four favorite Mardi Gras trivia. But so I've never been to Mardi Gras. I know that Mr. Matthew Placco has been to Mardi Gras before. How many times you been, Matt?
Well, it's funny you ask, because I was doing a little bit of show prep earlier and just sort of taking some notes about the times that I've been and just what sort of stands out as the memories. And I have written down, the first time, the second time, third time, the fourth time that I went. And man, I can't believe I've gone 4 times. So just to do a little more due diligence, I broke out the picture box that has all my college and high school actual pictures. And I was looking through the Mardi Gras photos. And apparently I went 5 times. I don't remember one of them hardly at all. And after I saw the pictures, I went, oh, apparently I've been 5 times.
Hand grenade, scene missing trip. All right, so how does this work? When would you guys go down there? What was the process?
Well, just background on it. Mardi Gras actually starts about a month out. I mean, Fat Tuesday yesterday is the last day. And at midnight on Fat Tuesday, the police on horseback just clean the streets. You don't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Just done. Party's over. They shut everything down. The bars closed.
Really?
Yeah, because they've had enough of everyone's shenanigans at that point. And now at midnight, it's now Ash Wednesday. So no more Fat Tuesday shenanigans. You're done. But Mardi Gras goes for, I think it's at least 4, maybe 6 weeks. And really the only thing
definitely, I think it's 30 days. Yeah,
and realistically, if you're in New Orleans, if you're on Bourbon Street, the only way you can tell that it's Mardi Gras versus not Mardi Gras is if a parade happens to roll through. And they have multiple parades a day during actual Mardi Gras. But other than that, I mean, the beads are there year round. The beers, the filth, it's all the same. But we would go down. We would go
down in Bourbon Street. If it's time for Ash Wednesday, they just stick their thumb in the gutter and then do the sign of the cross on your forehead, or they actually go the old-fashioned way and burn the palms.
You'll burn your thumb right off. You stick it in the gutter. There's nothing good down there. It's all bad. Pro tip: don't ever wear sandals when you go down to New Orleans. I don't care what time of year it is. It is all bad. You will come back with some sort of fungus. Yeah.
Do you wear Adidas clogs instead, or different shoes?
Different shoes.
Doc Martens?
Something a little more heavy duty if I got to kick my way out. Yes. But we used to in college. We would take our classes on Thursday, finish up by 4 or 5 o'clock. We'd be on the road at 6 o'clock at night on Thursday. So we got down there by 10:30, 11 o'clock Friday morning. Party all day, all night Friday, all day, all night Saturday, then drive home Sunday.
Oh my God. You guys drove, first of all, and then just turned into a Vegas trip?
Dude, when we went, the first year I went, it was 3 days before it was time to go. Say, you want to go to Mardi Gras? Sure. What are we doing? Just get in the car. We borrowed a buddy's mom's minivan, 6 of us.
Oh, yes.
Love this story. Fucking love this.
Drove straight through. It's 16 and a half hours. As soon as we got into Tennessee, we were, buying mini thins at the truck stops and just
roll call mini thins.
Hammering.
Jesus Christ. That ages.
Seriously, nothing's more Placco than that comment.
Fuck. So we got there and we stopped just when we got over the Louisiana border. We stopped at a Rite Aid or a gas station or something and got some booze and got some mixers.
we found a place to park the van. We actually found a meter right outside of the Jazz Heritage Museum over on Esplanade, which is ironic. And I'll tell you in a minute why. We parked this van, mix a cocktail, start walking. It's like 10:30 in the morning. And at the time I was 19. So I think I went down there and back with about $300 in my pocket. I think I still came home with money. But we went down. We didn't have a hotel. We didn't have anything. We slept, 6 of us slept in that van for 2 days.
Oh my God.
And then
how quick did you
home.
get through his mom's Werther's bag?
It was
Like, did it make it halfway through the trip, or?
I have smelled a lot of things. Nothing has ever smelled the way this van did on the way home on Sunday after all of us were just sweating out alcohol and unbathed
showers
for
for a
2
You guys probably
days.
smelled like you lived in the fucking 1800s.
It was awful. Absolutely.
Washer would be
awful.
like, "Hey, is there a lake anywhere around here? I got a shower.
I need to get a shave."
in."
I'm not worried about my pits, but I sure as fuck am going to shave.
Yeah, where's the Bay or the St. Charles River? Let's get going, guys.
I need to dump
But
into
it
the
was-
like Pontchartrain.
It was a straight shot down, straight shot back. And again, I was 19. One of my
Straight
roommates
shot,
was
16
19.
hours straight shot.
There were a couple guys that were over 21, but we would just send 2 of the guys into the little bodegas and they'd get, trays of tall boys. And we all had like hip sacks or fanny packs that we'd just throw the beers in the back and
Awesome.
walk around all day just drinking beers.
DK, we need some hip sacks with the Tim Whitty logo on it from here on out.
Fuck yeah, we do.
We want them to
Really
be purple
ripping
and
off
gold.
Rogan
Purple and gold too.
outside of our normal color palette. I like it.
That's black or green. That's it. That's all you guys get.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot have the goalie parts red on this sweet hat. Dude,
Blacko,
so I can
before you can-
only... Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Before you continue with the story about the Mardi Gras, are these the same guys you're going to the Derby with every year too? I mean, sounds like you had a pretty good crew that you guys did a lot of traveling, which is awesome because we didn't do any of that. Like my crew went to the bar and had parties, and that's about it. I mean, we went on spring break
stole
one
tappers.
year, and
We
that's it.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
You could use the deposit money to go on spring break with all those tappers you stole.
Yeah, you don't need a hotel if you're going with Blacko.
Yeah, no kidding. My Visa card would appreciate it if we didn't rent a hotel, so I should have went with you guys instead. But
So
It's paid
Matt,
off
was this
now.
this initial trip? Was this the only trip where you guys stayed in Hotel Day minivan, or did you guys were like, I can't sleep with you guys next year if we do this? We have to find like a fucking hostel at least. Or
Well,
was
I
that
will
like
tell
the
you,
other 4
it
times?
got progressively better as the trips went on. Year 2,
Become professionals.
of the 6 of us that went the first year, there were 2 of us that went back down the second year. And we grabbed one of our buddies, and then we also grabbed this guy that we really didn't like, but his mom had a minivan. So, hey, you need to borrow your mom's van and let's go. So there were 4 of us that rode down in this minivan, and we spent the 2 nights in that minivan as well, basically in the same spot. We were pretty close to where we were the first time. And that trip,
17% less smelly on the way back.
that trip was not great because on the way down there, whatever shift, I thought it'd be a good idea to keep myself up after popping a handful of mini thins by chasing that with a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. You like that, Hoffman? So I
Hoffman's
was
favorite.
the whole way for 5 hours. I'm just 10 and 2. And when my shift was up, the sun was coming up. We were 2 hours out. They said, "You want me to tag him?" "No, I'm good. I'm just going to keep going. Just tell me where to turn." So we spent those 2 nights in the van. But then we went, and as soon as we stopped moving, hit the ground running, cocktails out the door, and we went deep into the night. And
Go deep night.
I remember at one point sitting down in this bench in a hotel while somebody was going to the bathroom. And the next thing I know, I'm standing in an alley, like on the other side of the French Quarter. So I completely just time traveled and go,
Rufilata.
where'd everybody go? Should probably figure out how to get back to this van. So I stumbled around until I found at least, a landmark that I recognized and made it back. And as I'm walking back, those guys are all back in the van going, where have you been? We were getting ready to go to the cops. We thought you were dead, floating in the river somewhere. I go, I wish I could tell you where I was. I have no idea. I had stamps all the way up my arms just from going into random bars.
Sounds like I walked past you while you were sleeping.
Pushed past them into the van, fell asleep. 8 a.m. the next morning, everybody's up because we're just sleeping in a van, so nobody's really comfortable. We get up, pour ourselves an eye opener. We go to find brunch, and as we're walking down the street, we're about 4 blocks away from the van, and I just look around and I see a potted plant. Start guffing in this
fertilizer
potted plant. I take about 10 more steps. The next one, throw some more of that. I hit like 4 in a row, and just go. You guys have brunch. Give me the keys. I'm going back to the van. And I turned around, walked back to the van, and laid down. I slept for like 8 hours in this van, and didn't do anything that day until that night. Then we went out and partied. We met up with those guys. So that was,
dude. You know how dangerous that is. Just a whole sleep
awesome.
in a van.
God, that's awesome.
Were you guys like pumping quarters into the meter or what?
no. We did the math and figured if we get a parking ticket, it's a $45 fine. So that's cheaper than a hotel room for 2 nights. We'll just pay the $45 fine.
And
It's
your
like
buddy's
stay
mom's $45, so fuck it, right?
Hey, your mom's not going to Louisiana anytime soon, right?
She won't have that van that long. It even makes it back.
Yeah, unless it gets stolen.
You guys are incredible.
So the third year that we went down, now I'm working a little bit. We got a little bit of money. So there's 3 of us. And we all decided, hotels are really expensive. It's like, $200 a night down there. I don't know if we can afford that. And we opted to do, first night when we got there, checked into a hotel right in the French Quarter's. Awesome. It's big. I think it was St. Patrick's or something like that, right in the heart of the French Quarter. Then we checked out, got the car, drove just outside the French Quarter, parked it, and we slept in a Honda Civic, 3 of us.
Civic.
Second night.
God.
Awesome.
So who
How
had
do you
the back
sink
seat?
3 guys in a Honda Civic?
Who had the fucking
Seriously.
back seat?
Yeah.
I had the back seat. The other 2 guys had the front.
So these dickheads were just like reclining all over you. Were you like a fucking
Yeah,
on
you.
you?
Were you laying
Yeah,
on
point.
top
of you?
Yeah.
I could have slept on the roof of the car, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Ugh.
I mean, it was just
Was it hot as fuck down there?
no. I mean, it's this
Come
time
on.
of year right now. It was probably 70 degrees. I mean, it was perfect.
I slept in a car once on accident, right? I was at Michigan State going for a party, and we never planned on staying, so we ended up sleeping in the car. And I probably got up 6 times and turned the car on for 20 minutes to run the AC because it was so fucking hot. But I knew I couldn't just leave the car running while I sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah, right.
So
I
stupid.
love to get
So fucking
8 hours of
stupid.
sleep in a car is awesome. Dude, so you guys get one. That was way too nice, and we didn't spend enough time here. Let's go. Gotta get out of here.
Let's move this party to the Civic tomorrow night, guys.
This was also the only trip I've been on that somebody got arrested. One of the guys, clearly part of the fun and the mystique of Mardi Gras is the girls, pull their shirts up and they throw beads, and cops don't care about that. They'll let you go. But the second, apparently, somebody tries to reciprocate the favor by pulling their
showing a
yammer
D.
out. All of a sudden, a cop will grab you and throw you in the paddy wagon, which one of my idiot friends did. So he got thrown in the drunk tank for about
That
an
is a
hour, and we had to wait around for
bold
him to
move.
get out, and then they basically let him out.
So your buddy sees a pair of cans, and he's like, you know what? Thank you. Allow me to return the favor. If
Like
you
a gentleman.
if you're having, like, what do you do? Like, if you're walking around, like, you guys know, like, if it's not a good day, it can be creeping inside you. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
are
you're
you
not
fluffing
impressing
yourself
anybody on certain days.
in preparation for this? Because you could. I think I'd rather be arrested than
I can't
than
answer
show
that
that
question.
off
Let me-
if you're having like a little guy day.
To your point, and to illustrate the picture even more, and this is how dumb this guy was. The girls that were flashing were on a balcony, I would say 20 feet up where we were
We'll call
on the
2
street
stories.
in this sea of humanity. Could be 2 stories. But they were up there, so pretty far away. And everybody's yelling, show your boobs, yeah. And the one girl was pointing out and said, not till somebody shows me what they got. So, of course, back up, watch this. And
I love this guy.
What's
this guy's name? Can we give him a shout out?
We will not give him a shout out.
Does it rock something?
Is it something like a Schmen Mufeldermer?
I don't even know that he had himself zip back up before two cops grabbed his arms and drug him away. And my other buddy and I go, well, what's going on? He said, do you walk down your street with your dick hanging out? No. What makes you think you can do it here?
Ohio. Yeah.
Well, clearly girls aren't doing that either. Well, they're girls. They're allowed. We don't want to see what you got. We want to see what they got. Fair enough. So an hour later, he came out and was semi-sobered up a little bit and went straight to the bar and kept at it.
Follow-up question, because I've gotten into a little mix with the law in Mardi Gras as well. Was there a order to appear in court in Louisiana, like a month later, that he had to drive the 16 hours?
Such a dick move.
There was not.
Man, lucky bastard. Fuck. Man, I swear, I get the worst luck, man. I have the worst luck.
Yep.
What'd you say, Hoff? If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
100%.
Sorry, man. Proceed.
So the fourth year, and this was, I think, arguably my favorite year. It was just three of us, and it was myself and the two guys who we always went to the Derby together, and we'd go out on spring break together. Like, the two guys were the best men at my wedding. So the three of us.
Did Yammer Billy go with you again, or did he exclude himself that year?
He was persona non grata after that.
So you're like the Mardi Gras champion of the group right now. Like, you're the professional.
At this point, yeah. I wasn't necessarily recruiting people to go, but it kind of became, well, you're going to go again, right? Yeah, I guess. Who's going? Let's go.
Yeah, if you got a minivan, I'll go.
But we actually got a room this time for both nights, which was a nice change. Unfortunately, it was about 20 miles outside of town. Because that's the only thing that we could afford was days in Slidell, Louisiana.
You guys want to catch the LSU Tigers home game that head down to the French Quarter?
So we got to the hotel, and actually I think we might have driven straight down there at first just to get our bearings, have lunch. So we went to the hotel, checked in, and took an $85 cab ride into town. Found a cab, $85 back, so we just paid the money both ways. It would have been probably the same amount had we actually gotten a hotel in the quarter, just outside of the quarter where we could have walked. We weren't that smart. But what made this one the best is we had the bright idea, because this is kind of around the same time that all the Girls Gone Wild and the MTV Spring Breaks and all that stuff was going. So I borrowed my father's camcorder. And when I say camcorder, I mean the big boxy one that goes up on your shoulder that has the full VHS tape in it. And we slapped an MTV sticker on the side of it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man, that you are awesome. You are just awesome.
Oh, this is like my wedding ring story right here. I love it.
And we shot about 2.5 hours worth of footage. And you think that people are anxious to show off and be exhibitionists just on their own? Put a camera in their face. And clearly no one thought that we actually worked for MTV, but they weren't asking too many questions either. And it was crazy, the stuff that we saw and the stuff that we documented down there. It was fantastic.
I mean, how many times did you guys watch this video afterwards? I mean, it had to be like
on a loop. When we got home that night,
just feeding the ducks.
16 hours, exhausted, and just sat there, put it on, drank another beer. All the roommates wanted to see it. The girls that lived next door came over. They wanted to watch it. I mean, it was on a loop for about 2 weeks.
You guys,
everybody taking turns going to the bathroom.
Wasn't
you guys all look at each other like, you think what I'm thinking? Turn the camera on the chicks from next door. Damn it.
Unfortunately, the saddest part of the whole story is I may have been watching it one night downstairs, left it in the VCR, went out, came home, passed out, woke up the next day, didn't think about it, went and grabbed it a couple days later. Somebody had programmed the VCR to tape WCW Monday Nitro or something. So I got about half an hour of Mardi Gras, and then it's like a bunch of wrestling, and then the tail end of Mardi Gras again. So we lost the majority of the good stuff. Just gone. Replaced by Stinger and Hulk Hogan and those other jerks.
That's a shame because it's probably a good half hour before you got your mojo on how to approach people with this camera and like get good at being like the cameraman, right? Like,
no, you would think, but one of my favorite parts is, hit record. We're actually taping the drive in, and it opens with Berlin, Take My Breath Away is playing on the car radio as we're driving up over this bridge and in, and it's just very calm and peaceful. And then we come to a stoplight, and there's a jar of piss on the corner that we just take for a minute, and then we keep going in. By the time we parked and started walking, we weren't half a block up before some hillbilly guy and his girlfriend jump right in front of us. Hey, boys, you got to film this. So I turned the camera, and his girlfriend, who was, I don't know what she was on, but she was tweaking. She just pulls her shirt up, and he goes, y'all like that? Y'all see that? That right there is from Pea Ridge, Arkansas. That's from Pea Ridge, Arkansas, y'all. That's how we grow them down there.
And then she casually turn to a potted plant and throw it into the potted plant.
And it was that way. We would just turn the camera on somebody, and all of a sudden they'd start dancing, or their shirt would come off, or whatever. It was like I don't know. It was like the magic elixir, just having the camera in your hand. It was awesome. That was by far and away the best.
I can't wait till you catch Fletcher looking through all the old Lion King VHSs, trying to see if there's one that got misplaced. This isn't Aladdin.
Dad, where's all your old wrestling VHS?
Hey, what's this wrestling VHS? Also, do we have a VCR?
Well, the good news is, yeah, these kids don't even know what a VCR is.
I mean, I see this rewinder thing. I don't know what this rewinder is, but do we have a VCR?
I heard you guys talking about this on season 3. Dude, so that doesn't even get us up the full way, right? Or is that all of them?
No, that was the last one. It was 5 of us. It was me and one of the 2 guys that went down, and then
Matt, you're being stalked.
3 other guys.
You're being stalked.
And
you're being stalked. Turn over, right shoulder.
Don't turn around. Don't.
It's looking at me.
Look dead in the eye.
Jesus Christ! Get in the bathroom. Get in the bathroom right now. Save yourself.
Shadow's pissed. That Shadow's move right there.
The 5th time we went was proof that sometimes too much of a good thing is too much. I'm not going to say it wasn't the best group of guys because it was good, but the one guy brought his girlfriend, and we stayed outside of town again. It just was kind of a letdown. That was the year that while we were walking down the road, my buddy that went the year prior with me and I said, we're done with this. We got to find a new party next year. And that next year is when we started going to the Derby. So that was our swan song, number 5.
Shout out Swan Song.
So good. Yeah. Nails. That get you warmed up? You ready to go?
Well, so I've never been to Nolans. I've never been to Nolans. I've been to Mardi Gras in St. Louis probably 10 times, right? I mean, it was like an annual thing for me, obviously, because it happens every year.
So
but
with
the
or
way
without
I
Ken
found
Bone?
out about it, no Ken Bone. But so my freshman year of college, my parents bought like this 3-flat apartment building, right in downtown St. Louis, and like 1 block away from where my sister lives. And all of a sudden, this is the spring of 2000. My parents call me absolutely shit-faced, and like slurring their words, yelling and stuff. And they're like, Danny, they got a Mardi Gras down here. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? My dad's like, your mother lost her glasses, and you hear my mom in the background. Don't you be telling him that I'm drunk. It's like she fell down. She fell down in an alley. I'm like, oh my God, because I never really saw my dad would always throw him back. My mom would like never get drunk, and I could hear my mom shit faced, and they're like, next year, you guys have to come down. I'm like, who's you guys? She's like, whoever you want. I go, good to know. So my sophomore year, I have practice on Saturday, right? So Saturday morning we have practice, and me and my buddy Chad, and then my friend Jamie, she came with. She was like my best buddy who we didn't have sex ever, whatever. She wanted to come with. So we drive the 99
There's
Altima
always so fucking thing
all
to
the
that.
way,
I love
all
it.
the way down to St. Louis. We get there at like 8:30 at night on Saturday, right? So the day of the parade. And you know, they live one block off of the parade route. So like you can't drive anywhere near their house. So I had to park like probably 8 blocks away from their house. And we looked like the biggest bunch of rookies ever. Walking through the streets of Mardi Gras, pillows and fucking blankets and shit while everybody's fucking partying. Like that, you know? I've looked and felt like a loser at a party before, but never like this. Like it was very, very uncomfortable, right? So we get to the apartment, and I go into the backyard, and my parents are throwing an absolute fucking banger in their backyard. There is probably at least 6 kegs in this backyard, right? And I'm like, where have you guys been my entire life, you know? So we go unpack our stuff, and like, you know, this is like the first time I've actually been drinking with my parents, and I'm 18 years old. So my sister throws a party for this thing every year, and my sister was like a big party animal. So my dad's like, you should probably go check out Lib's house, because her and her boyfriend at the time were throwing a party. So I'm like, all right, so we fill up a cup of beer or whatnot, and my mom's like, don't bring the cup of beer out there. You know, they're looking for underage people. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I just walked past her. There's like no cops, and literally everybody's drinking. So we walk out the front gate, make it 3 houses down, bam, drinking ticket. Get pulled over. Get pulled aside, and I get issued a ticket, you know, and I'm like, fuck, man. So we go back over to my sister's, and like my sister, she's got Slurpee machines and stuff like that. I'm like, this is just absolutely awesome. So that was like my first intro to Mardi Gras. So then the next year, I'm like, all right, this is going to be real awesome, right? So now I'm like still living in a home or whatnot. And I've like, there's been a couple years past where I bring a bunch of people down. Everybody loves it. So I'm working for, like, I have like a big boy job now, right? And I bring like a couple of people I work with, and then I meet up with a couple of guys that I work with. And these guys that I met up with, they are kind of like me, where they really throw down, right? So I meet up with them, and like we find this little kid who is literally Duke's age. This kid is 10 years old, right? And we're like, hey, where are your parents at? He's like, I don't got no parents. I'm like, oh, okay. So my other buddy's like, you want to hang with us? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, sweet, you know? So we're like right at the corner.
It tastes like shit. You get scotch.
We've got this little dude like hanging out with us, and he's like getting beads for us and shit like that. Because like beads are your ammo. That's how you see cans, right? So we're walking toward the corner, and on the corner there's a balcony, and there's all these chicks that are flashing and stuff. So everybody's throwing beads, and this kid is he's eating a turkey leg, right? And all of a sudden,
kind of guy.
all of a sudden,
this kid. Did he share it?
Yes, he did, because this little dude throws the fucking turkey leg up at the balcony of these chicks. These chicks are like diving like somebody just threw a grenade at the thing. The turkey leg, bam, sticks in the window and falls down. I'm like, and we're looking at him, and we start running like, dude, you're gonna get us arrested, you know, because they're gonna think it was us, not you. And we're running down the alley. I'm like, whose idea was to hang out with this kid, you know? So we go back around the alley, and then we get back into like my parents' backyard. But my parents, you have to have a wristband to get into their party, right? They hire a bouncer and stuff like that. And I'm like, I got my hand over the gate. I'm like, I'm Danny. I'm Abby's and Dan's son. You know, they're like, open up. I go, let us in. There's kids chasing after us. And all of a sudden, 10 minutes later, this kid's in my parents' backyard. Now we can't shake this kid, right? I turn. All of a sudden, then I turn and I look at my mom, and my mom has these gigantic beads, like the biggest beads you've ever seen. I go, I don't even want to know what you did to get those things. And my dad goes, shh, you don't want to know. And she goes, she's like, I bought them. Relax, I bought them. I'm like, oh, thank fucking God, right? And my mom walking around getting beads. But my dad was like the biggest collector of them, right? So we'd get back in there, and my dad would be like, hey, I bought these beads here. Like Mardi Gras is like a whole month-long thing. So like he'd always be like, hey, you know, let's buy these Dale Earnhardt beads and these Irish flag beads and stuff like that. So then you're walking around with these cool stuff. And people are trying to like, hey, give me those. Like these girls, like, I want those beads. I'm like, well, you gotta show me your. I'm not showing your tits. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, get out of here, you freaking goon. I mean, I feel like I've told some, but like,
rocks.
yeah, eat sand. I think I told the story. Did I tell the story about when I got sick in Mardi Gras? So I brought my buddy Guy, and
we know when the Jersey guy got sick.
Yeah, I know that one. That's a fucking all timer. That just came up my Facebook memories the other day.
When you say he got sick, did you find some potted plants to guff in?
Yeah, he was sitting in the potted plant. So this one day, I took my buddy John and Guy, right? John, he's a loyal listener. He'll love this story. So I take them down with me. We stop at Steak and Shake on the highway down there, or we stop at Steak and Shake to eat and get back down. Arrive Friday night. We go out Friday night. Wake up in the morning. I fill a backpack full of beer. We go out to the parade route and we're starting hanging out. And like, I have 2 beers. I'm like, man, I feel like fucking dog shit. I thought I'd like take a dump or something. Didn't happen. I go back. I take a nap, and these 2 guys have no idea where to go, what they're doing, and I'm sick. I like have like a 24-hour flu, and I'm like sleeping. Every hour they'd come in there. Where should we go next? I'm like, get the fuck out of here, right? So after the 6th time, they're like, what should we do? I go, here's what you need to do. You need to go over to Clementine's. Bar is awesome. You guys will love Clementine's, right? So they go off. Hour and a half later, they come back in. What the fuck kind of shit is that? And I'm like, did you guys go? They're like, yeah, we fucking went. Get a load of this, right? So they're waiting in line to get in. And my buddy Guy goes to the bouncer and he's like, hey guys, here's the cover, and Guy goes, any hot ass in here tonight? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, nice. So they go to the bar or whatever, and they're getting a drink. My buddy John goes, look at those 2 dudes are fucking making out. And he's like, all right, whatever. And he's like, those dudes are fucking making out. John goes, dude, I think this is a gay bar. I think this is a gay bar, right? And Guy's like, it definitely is a gay bar. Wait a minute. I asked the fucking bouncer if there's any hot ass in it. That guy thinks I'm gay. They had a couple more drinks during the time of the story. My old man loved it. No, it was awesome. But I can only imagine those 2 guys hanging out, just 2 dudes alone in a gay bar. I'm like, did anybody hit on you? No, we left right away. And then another time, I told you about the time when my dad wanted to beat that kid up, right? Did I tell that story on here?
Yes.
That was a we were singing the national anthem in the
in that same bar, right? Or no?
There's a different bar. So I'll tell the story again just because it's an awesome story. I don't remember when the hell we talked about it. Because I remember I thought we tabled a couple of them because you wanted to have a Mardi Gras.
Didn't we have like the big guy, like big fat guy or something that was like
fucking Norb?
Norb, yeah.
Yeah, Norb, my guy, right? So he's down there and he is literally a clone of me personality-wise. Will talk to anybody and just loves to party, and then he loves to have a good time, right? So I text him and we're going to meet up right down at the same corner where the turkey leg got thrown by that fucking kid. And he turns the corner. He's got like 2 other like just massive, massive men, right? So we go into this corner bar and we start having a couple of drinks. And Tommy Mason is the guy's name. I remember I was telling the story. I couldn't think of Tommy's name. He's sitting in this chair backwards, fucking falls over on his face. Bartender's like, you guys, it's time. It's time for you guys. You guys got to go, So I'm like, let's go to the fucking landing. So we get in this cab and it's me and like 3 other guys and then Norb and his buddies. And we get in this minivan, right? And all of a sudden Norb, hey, let's sing the national anthem, right? So we start fucking not singing it, screaming it at the top of our lungs. And this cab driver is like, oh, I fucking hate all of you, right? So we get somewhere near the land. He's like, all right, out. You guys are fucking out. Out now, right? So we go hang out, and then we end up having to take a cab back. And we're walking back to my parents' house, and my old man is just standing in the middle of the street right in front of the house. It's at 9:30 at night, but it might as well have been 4:30 in the morning, when you start at fucking 7. So he turns and looks, where you guys been, right? My dad's like, where's that kid? I was going to drop kick that kid in the nuts. I'm like, all right, Pops, let's just relax here a little bit, right? Now my dad's like threatening to beat kids up. So my buddy Pat pulled out. I remember telling this part of the story, but my buddy Pat pulled out a half gallon of black cherry effing vodka. There's like 7 of us in the street, just ripping shots off this bottle, right? And my dad won't shut up about fucking drop kicking this kid in the nuts. So I'm like, all right, you gotta go to bed, Pops, you know? So my buddy Jupe, you know Jupe off, he's there with me, right? He's got a fucking extenuating story here too. But so we go downstairs and Jupe is like trying to hook up with this chick that he knows that lives in like Freeburg, which is like on the other side of the river. And my mom's sitting in her chair, like she's been home for like 6 hours. So she's kind of sobered up, but like we're all just like zombies walking around this basement apartment, right? I can tell she's like really annoyed. And Jupe is like, Danny, guess what? Danny, guess what? Right. And my mom is like sitting right here and he's standing right above her and behind her. He goes, I'm getting laid tonight. I'm like, good for you, buddy. I think my mom likes that too. He's like, oh, I didn't even see you there, mother. I'm sorry. She goes, well, make sure you use protection, right? He's like, I gotta take a train. You know, I gotta take a train to get there. You know, my dad is like rises from the ashes from the bed. I'll take you to the train. Let's go. Let's go right now, right? I'm like, all right, well, you get 2 drunk Dans escorting you to a fucking train station, you know, and I have no idea where I'm going, and I have no idea if he knows where he's going because he was, you know, dreaming of drop kicking kids in the nuts. So we take him off to this train station, and he gets on the train. So then, you know, we end up making back. But, you know, later the next day, I'm talking to him. He's like, dude, you're not going to believe what happened to me on this train. I didn't know where I was supposed to get off. So I found these kids and we were probably 26 at the time, right? He's like, I found these 18-year-olds and we got there. I was like, hey, here's the stop. Here's the city I need to get off at. What stop do I need to get off? He's like, yeah, you guys come with us, you know? So he gets off the train with these guys and he's like, can you take me to this girl's house? Right. They're like, yeah, but you gotta buy us beer though. He's like, all right, what do you want? You know, and he's like, well, we want X, Y, and Z. He's like, all right, give me money. He's like, no, you're paying for it too. You're buying us the beer. If we're driving, you're buying.
What a power move,
dude. I know. I was like, I'm talking about a bunch of punk ass kids just shoving it to the fucking drunk man. He's like, these guys made me buy them all fucking types of booze. I'm like, did you even have a wallet? Because you had no soul when you left the apartment. You know, he's like, no, I made it back. He goes, but those fucking kids. I think it was something like 4 or 5 cases of beer. He's like, I was rocking hard place. What am I going to do? Walk to the chick's place that I don't know in Freeburg, Illinois. That was a good one, though. My mom, she's like, yeah, I remember that kid. Kid was getting laid tonight. Yeah, I'll never forget him. I'm like, dude, you're
dude, I love you getting shook down by some teenagers.
Yeah. So the drinking,
yeah,
the drinking ticket, I had to go back to St. Louis. And this is during the baseball season, so I had to like figure out a way to like come up with an excuse to fucking leave to go down to St. Louis for fucking court.
What's that drive? How far is St. Louis?
From me now, it's like
Chicago,
4
right?
hours. Yeah, it's about 4 hours. If you're cruising, you can get there 4. But yeah, 4.5 is a safe bet. So all 3 of us got tickets, so we all had to go to court. So we went down there together, stayed at the apartment, and then the judge is like, all right, here's your options. I forgot how many hours of community service. We'll call it 50 or a $350 fine. I go, I'm not doing 50. That was like basically a full-time job in college. I have no room or time. I got a party. I got to go to school. And I got practice and games. I have no time to do community service. I'll pay the fine. These 2 yahoos like, yeah, we'll do the community service. I'm like, how are you going to even do this? You know? So I had to take the money out of my savings that I worked for. I was telling you guys, like, that's why I had to steal gas. I got this drinking ticket. So I had to pay the money my own, right? And these 2 yahoos, Jamie's mom or Jamie's dad is like a lawyer. He's like, yeah, we'll just fucking sign this and turn in. That's fine. I'm like, you motherfucker. So I couldn't have had to do anything. Once again, stepping on nails. $350 when I could have just had somebody's dad sign my fucking sheet for me.
You know, with the parking tickets, the 2-night parking tickets that we got, The theory was just we'll just leave it on the windshield because if somebody rolls by and sees there's already a ticket there,
Yeah, they're not going to
give you two of them. Which the 1 year it worked, the 1 year it didn't. We got two the 1 year. But where we parked, I told you it was right outside of the historic Jazz Museum, which was the old French Mint. Coincidentally, the Diesel's parents have a timeshare in New Orleans, and it's on Esplanade Avenue, right in the French Quarter, and it is literally across the street from where we parked the van both times. Both times we were down there in the van, I actually went and peed in the parking lot of the Hotel Esplanade, which is where their timeshare is. And so the first time that I went down there with Courtney and her parents, we're driving. I go, this kind of looks familiar. And we finally got there, and they pull up right in front of the hotel. I go, you got to be kidding me. That's my spot. That's my parking spot.
I know these
right
potted
there.
plants.
See those first three plants that are way bigger than the others?
So that is
I've heard a lot of those.
That's where eventually, hopefully, we'll be taking over that timeshare sometime in the relative near future, and
I love it.
Going right back there.
Tim Woody live show
From the minivan.
French Quarter.
From the minivan.
Yes, for sure. We're
You think Ken can? You think Ken can hook us up with a loaner? And we can just take a bus down there.
So he could sell us one. So we get enough ads, we could buy one. But he sold. I think it was Notre Dame Alabama national championship game. He sold the Sugar Bowl 2 buses that they painted. It's pretty sweet to see his buses on there. But yeah, they got a short bus.
Oh, there'll be no money, but we're interested.
Maybe some beads or a full frontal shot. I don't know.
Yeah, Ken, want to see my yammer?
I'll buy a tray of tall boys so you can put in his fanny pack when we get down there.
And I will.
You got to get closer than that. If you're that far, if you're that far away, you're not going to see my yammer, and you're never going to be able to hit me with a fire extinguisher.
Great story. Boys, I love it. But hey, Danny, it's getting to that time. You know what time it is?
It's time for the Final Four. And today's Final Four is brought to you by, you guessed it, goalieparts.com. Goalieparts.com is here for you, the goalie. It's run and owned by goalies for goalies. It is goalieparts.com's mission to provide you with the tools that you need to perform at the highest levels. They carry everything that you need, from helmets and cages all the way down to straps and clips. And they don't stop there either. They're always looking for new quality products that will help you play and look your best. Because, Wash, if you ain't looking good, baby, you ain't playing good. GoalieParts.com guarantee if they wouldn't use it, they won't sell it. So go over to GoalieParts.com, located in the Echo Pro Shop in the Darien Sportsplex, and go say hi to our buddy Dennis. Also, if you're over there, go let them know that you want to buy some Tim Woody swag. And the way you can do that is go to trustme.itemorder.com. Go get yourself a t-shirt, a hat, a beanie, or a sweatshirt, maybe a 3/4 zip sweatshirt, or a Carhartt jacket. And summer's coming. And when summer's coming, the beer's got to stay cold. And the only way you can keep a cold beer is by getting a nice little koozie, a Tim Woody koozie. So go check it out. Trustme.itemorder.com and goalieparts.com for all of your goalie needs.
Dennis, thank you kindly for everything you provide us and for your continued sponsorship. This week's Final Four is our Final Four favorite Mardi Gras traditions. And we'll let Dan go last because he's going to need some time to prepare. So, Kyle, you want to lead us off since you
sure,
no
problem.
Well prepared?
Oh, I got this going. Number 4. Excuse me. Let's start all over. I got one bubble team because I always do. My one bubble team is I love the idea of Mardi Gras essentially being like the gluttonous celebration before Lent, right? So it's basically do everything you're going to promise not to do for the next X amount of days. If I still went to church, I'd remember, right? So I love that. That's my bubble team. And getting into the actual Final Four, number 4, 3, 2, and 1 is the fact that beads have such a fantastic currency when it comes to Mardi Gras, because truly those are the only 2 things I know about Mardi Gras, is that it's gluttonous and that beads get you pretty much anything you want when it comes to Mardi Gras. So that, my friends, is my Final Four.
Yeah, call back to, what was that,
was
U2,
awesome.
where U2 dominated my Final Four, was it? Or Dave Matthews Band?
Dave Matthews Band, most hated band. Dave Matthews on here again. That was even better, though, because, yeah, the two things. Yeah, I'd like the double entendre there.
I'm ready to go if you guys are ready. This is a pretty easy Final Four for me.
Me too. Me
Right.
too.
Hey, then hit it.
Take it,
My number 4 is the open container. It's a great tradition for Mardi Gras. I love the fact that you can just cruise down the street with a beer and basically give it a metaphorical finger to a police officer and not get in trouble for it. If you're over 21, of course, as I learned the hard way. Number 3 is hurricanes. I never drink hurricanes ever except Mardi Gras, but there's always a reason to have what it looks like lipstick on your face or chapped lips because you've just been hammering, and I mean hammering, hurricanes all GD day.
What exactly is in a hurricane? Is it
I know,
like
rum.
151 or Everclear or something?
Like 3 different kinds of rum and then a little bit of fruit juice. But it's just rum flavored rum over ice, basically.
Nice.
I would never drink them the other 364 days of the year, but I do love them. Number 2, this one's a little close to the heart. Special beads. I was telling you, my old man would always go hunting for like cool beads and stuff like that. And like when I'd be walking around them, he'd always be like, "Ooh, look at those beads. Ooh, look at those." Like even when we were driving around, he'd be pointing at stuff. Same way with beads. He was always on the hunt, and he was always willing to pay somebody for beads off of their neck. He's wild. I have a whole
Like way too much money, or just
like $10. I mean, beads are expensive. You think about $10 a shot, that adds up fast. But like he would always pick out like Notre Dame ones for me or Dale Earnhardt. I mean, those are like the special ones. But yeah, the beads that are kind of specialty made, those are really cool. And then number 1,
did everybody just learn about this affinity for Dale Earnhardt tonight, or is it just me?
Man,
I had no idea you were such a neckcar fan.
Yeah, I cried.
Fucking intimidator.
I cried when he died. I was upset.
Dale Earnhardt died for our sins.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but I didn't know.
I remember I was in my house my freshman year. My mom called me. I'm like, dear. Number 1, boobs. No, need I say more? Boobs.
Chalk. Chalk.
I mean, you see all different types of them. Like, and on Mardi Gras, I'm here for it because you see big, huge, fat, saggy ones. You see like perfect ones. You see like pierced ones. There's boobs that have tattoos all over them. There's girls with like no boobs. I mean, and then there's girls who are like, I'm going to flash you and I've got a bra. It's like, well, you're not really participating in the fact of it, right? And I'm not judging anybody, but it's just fun to see where girls like don't care what they look like. They don't care that they're not going to get judged. And it's like, I don't want to say the word empowering because I don't think that is what it is, but like, it's good to see they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Empowering.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I think my favorite move when we had the camcorder and total scumbag move. We went to lunch and we're coming around the corner and we had just, had like 3 great interactions on the way to Bourbon Street. It's massive people. And it's always busy, but this is like 2 PM. So it should have been this busy. And when you look up and see on the balcony, Luke Perry was up there throwing
Looking all
beads
cool
out to everybody down there.
Dude, you and the celebrity sighting.
It was Luke Perry, and girls were like just taking their shirts off and throwing them at him. I go, come on. So we pushed our way around and got underneath his balcony and stood on the curb. And I rolled about 10 minutes of just panning back and forth while every girl in New Orleans was flashing Luke Perry. It was awesome.
Luke Perry's glory hole.
Dylan, woo!
Oh, hey, girl, show me your boobs.
R.I.P. though. Oh my God, he'll be missed.
90210.
Dude, awesome. Placa, we're going to save you for last. All right. So my final 4 is, all right. So I had a playing game. I didn't have a bubble theme because I couldn't decide because I've never had either one of these things. And I just think they'd be incredible. So I don't know how you pronounce it, but like, is it Patchkey, Punchkey, like
Punch-
whatever
Punchkeys.
those?
Don't even get me
How do you
started
say it?
on that fucking word right there. How is it pronounced punchki when it's spelled like that? I will never
Matt,
get
how's it
over
said?
that.
That was Potchkeys.
Potchkeys. Those look incredible. Never had
Well,
one. Look amazing.
That makes more sense. In Chicago, they're pronounced punchkis. That's where my beef is. Like,
Well, you guys
It
all
can't
talk
be
like you got
Punchkeys.
marbles in your mouths.
Hey, you weirdos.
As
All right,
the Midwest
and
manager
then-
of the Midwest how to pronounce it.
Yeah, right. And the Punchkeys playing against King Cake. I mean, I don't know if there's
Ooh.
any better looking, delectable item that I've never had, but those two. Okay, so every
can tell
year
you.
I name something I haven't had that I have to have before the end of our fiscal year. Like, you know what's on my feet right now?
Punchkeys.
Not Punchkeys.
House shoes.
House shoes.
Nice
House shoes.
slippers.
Do you love them?
Cal,
You
get me
love them,
the-
don't you?
Yeah, Cal got me the beer holder for the shower. That was money from the shower beer for my birthday last year. That was money, but no. So never had either one. I'm gonna have one of each.
Don't do the king cake. Those aren't really all that good. But the punchki, get the chocolate because those are good.
They're all good.
Nice.
Also,
All
they
right,
are all good. Yeah.
Like with Kyle's bubble team, the whole concept of Fat Tuesday, the binge before the purge. I mean, just all of it, Mardi Gras. Yes, I'm as Dan would say, I'm here for it.
That way
It's
you could
fucking
lose
awesome.
14 pounds in a day. It's just by
right?
drinking water.
Yep. So good. All right. Number 2, you made mention of it, of how your parents knew that Mardi Gras came through St. Louis. Parades and the parade floats. I just think that the Mardi Gras parade is like the coolest looking fucking parade ever.
You know, in the parade, that's where you arm yourself with the beads. That's how
Yes,
you get all
exactly.
your beads, is
Yep.
the parade. Yeah.
So it's a parade of boobs, basically. I mean,
No, it's the opposite.
No,
Parade
the
of people
floats just throw
firing
beads.
beads.
oh, they give you the beads. Got
two
it.
at a
Yeah.
time, just firing them out into the crowds.
It's pretty fucking sweet.
And as you can
It's probably
imagine,
the
my
coolest
big
of
ass
all
self,
parades.
I get a ton at the parade. You know, because I'm so big.
Oh, that guy, he's huge. Look how tall that guy is.
Yeah, did you give me some beads, bro? You catch them for me?
He's hanging out
Outta
with a
here,
6-year-old
cokehead.
just winding up with a turkey legs.
Exactly.
Hey, you want to hang out with us, man?
Did his dad just slug that 6-year-old?
That's awesome.
He's
And my
showing
number
his,
1.
he's showing
So
his dick.
fucking big shower. He's a shower, not a grower. Whatever it is. I think it's the other way around. Anyway. All right. So my number 1. So good complimentary to Nails. So I was always heard nothing but great things about the Hurricane. Went to Pat O'Brien's, had the original Hurricanes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it was like a myth. Like what's like absinthe? Like you can't drink 2 or else you'll die. Like when the first time I went down there, like all right,
It's
you
like
just
looking a
can't.
cat in the eyes.
And I'm like, well, I'll have 6 and see what happens. So fuck off. And then I'm going to get some of the fucking Slurpee machine drinks on the way back. But yeah, right. Face melted.
I've got a great,
It's a bag
of hurricanes.
Patreon story about too many hurricanes by
Yes.
by a certain member of the family.
Faux show. But my number 1 drink that I stumbled upon later in my first trip there, the hand grenade. I'll take a hand grenade every day over a Hurricane. So that for me, that's the fucking knockout punch. Like that
What's in a
That's
hand
like the-
grenade?
that's like the modern day Danimal. Like it's fucking showtime for me. Like if I get one of those in me, it's fucking let's make some.
I don't even know what a
magic
hand
happen.
grenade is.
I don't know what's
It's
in it either. but
Blackout fuel is all it is. It's blackout
It's-
fuel.
Was it like a
It's
mind
great.
eraser?
I don't. It's like in a big like.
It's
like,
got to have vodka
Whalebone?
and rum
Whalebone?
and something else and something. They serve them in these yard glasses.
Martell,
It looks like a
obviously.
hand grenade at the bottom, and you just drink them down.
I mean, it's one of the best looking drinks, right, Matt? Like just from the fucking.
Well, you see people drinking them, and I gotta have one of those, and they're awful. They taste like liquid heartburn, and but it will turn your lights out before you're even done with that glass.
Oh, these are sweet.
Yeah. Right.
Are we
I gotta find
googling
the
the recipe?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm googling the recipe. Yeah. Dude, how fucking great is
Gin?
that glass?
Rum, vodka, green melon liqueur, Nils. Fucking Midori, 1992.
Someone call it Midori.
And pineapple juice.
The
So it's basically a green Long Island is what I'm translating from it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, essentially.
It's
With
adjacent to the
instead
Happy
of
Wallbanger.
Midori instead of triple sec.
This says that the pineapple juice is supposed to be fresh pressed, which I
It's
have
not
a hard
on
time
Bourbon Street, I
believing
can
it's
tell you.
for fresh pressed.
It's coming dead out of a can.
Yeah, Dole can. That's definitely fresh pressed at some point.
Yeah,
When they can open the opener on both sides, the air flowing. Exactly.
The little triangle, no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right,
100%.
Flacco. This is what we all came for. The Matt Flacco Final Four.
Well, just to get it out of the way, my bubble teams, clearly there's only one chalk answer for all of this, and it's boobs. And just the way that they're just out and about, and the fact that, like you guys said, the currency that stupid plastic beads hold just in that space. You couldn't do that anywhere else on Earth at any other time other than on Bourbon Street during Mardi Gras, and really any other time of the year. But just in that little area is the only space that it has that power. It's bizarre. It makes no sense, but it's great.
But you ain't asking questions.
Right. My other bubble team, and this is something that you have to kind of be down there. And it's not really a Mardi Gras thing, but it's more a New Orleans thing, is the street performers. If you ever get down there, you could spend a full day just stopping on street corners and watching these guys do breakdancing and playing music and contortionists and magicians. And it's amazing.
It's like Fremont Street style street performers.
Times 10, yeah, because they're everywhere.
Yeah,
they're all over the place.
And you can imagine if you're 19, can't get into bars, and you're sleeping in a van, you're gonna watch that shit all day long.
Oh yeah.
Do the robot again. Do the robot, man. That was awesome.
My number 4 is when it is Mardi Gras, because it changes every year. It's never the same, weekend, but it's always basically, in my mind, the start of spring. Winter's over. Now it's springtime. It's Mardi Gras time. Let's go party. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is the music. And again, this is more a New Orleans thing than a Mardi Gras thing, but just that Zydeco music, just to hear it pumping out of the bars, pumping just in the air as you're walking down the street. Even if I hear it now, it just makes me thirsty hearing it. I mean, it's something that I hear, and I got to get myself a drink just because I'm thinking about
ringing that bell for you, Flacco.
Number 2 is the food down there. I have had, the first time I ever had crawfish was the first year we went down. One of my buddies and I just got a bucket from a street vendor, and we just sat on the curb on Bourbon, just cracking these little bugs and sucking the heads and sucking the tails. And it was awesome. Just the food down there is amazing. No matter if you're getting like street cart food or you're actually going in and sitting down at a restaurant, the food down there is what keeps you going.
Roll call gator on a stick too.
Had gator on a stick.
It's a
delicious
big fucking stick.
And then my number 1 is kind of what you were talking about with the open container, just the atmosphere. If you go to Mardi Gras or a Mardi Gras party, whomever you're hanging out with is looking to get banged up drunk. I mean, there's nobody that is going there just with the intent of having a drink or two and watching things. Everybody is looking to get pie-eyed and just face down in the gutter. I mean, there's no downshifting once you get started. Everybody is there for the same reason, and most of those parties start during the day, and I love me some day drinking. So it's one of those things where you can get real drunk before the sun goes down, take a nap, then get back after it after you wake up.
Man, day drinking. I love day drinking.
Nothing better.
It's the best. Not bad, boys. 1 hour and 9 minutes.
You're close. With all the great stories, we were damn close.
We tried. We tried our butts off.
We did. Wash.
Shout out my chair.
We miss anything, my man?
I got nothing.
Plaques?
Cocktail shrimp, you got anything?
Oh,
no, we're good.
Tough.
We're good.
I'm good here. Dan, what say you?
Stay dangerous.